Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Flex and Reflect Sunday Sit Down. If this is the first episode you're joining, what I do once a week is I sit down and I answer all the questions that have been sent in from around the world, asked by my clients, and so forth, and I answer them every Sunday. So here we go. Can you share an instance where you didn't meet your fitness goals and what you learned from that experience? So I like to think about what I wished I had have done when I first started training back in 1988. The only metric I have is my body weight. I would have loved to do what I do for my clients now, which is do all the measurements, do a strength testing, fitness assessment, all that kind of stuff, as well as had DEXA scans. And if I had have known what I know now, I would have had a DEXA scan probably once a year since I started training, so I can see what's happening to my body composition, how much muscle have I got, how much muscle am I losing, etc., etc. So the lesson that I had was back in 2020. I'm keeping an eye on my cat at the same time. I think he's seen a bird. Um, just before COVID started, I determined that that was the year that I was going to train as hard as I could, get a strength and conditioning coach to help me get that six pack and just do things in a way that I hadn't done before and completely focused. Then COVID hit. I was still very focused and did really, really well though, and achieved the best look that I'd ever achieved. And I had a DEXA scan at the end of that. I had three over the duration. And at the end of it, I'd put on something like 1.9 kilos of muscle over that time. I was just like, wow, that's pretty good. But like I train naturally and like no steroids or anything like that. So it's really hard. And obviously I'm older, so it's really hard to do that. So I thought, all right, I'm going to do it again for 2021. And did that, achieved a better look. And at the end of the year of training, where like I trained harder, I was lifting bigger weights, I had a much better look. And so I'm thinking to myself that I reckon I've put on 1.5 kilos, but secretly I was hoping for 2 kilos. And like I'd got 1.9 last year. It's got to be 2 this year because I've just been so much more focused and everything. Anyway, so they did the test and it came back and showed that I'd lost 900 grams of muscle. And I was devastated. And like in the minutes afterwards, I'm in the car and I'm thinking, oh, what, all that work, what was the point? I sacrificed so much. I pushed so hard. I was so focused and I lost 900 grams. So then in the subsequent weeks, I was pulling it apart with my strength and conditioning coach. And this is the big lesson that I had was he was talking about the role that stress plays in your life. And so just think about this for a second. 2020, before COVID, I'm in Melbourne, Australia. We were locked down more than anyone else across 6 lockdowns over 300 days, I think it was. It was just nuts. The uncertainty in my business, the uncertainty when things were going to get back to normal, homeschooling. My daughter was dealing with her terminal illness, and that went into 2021, and things just got worse and worse in terms of the uncertainty, and also with my daughter for being unwell, and then her subsequently losing her life post my body transformation. But what he was saying is it's that stress that sits within you, even though you may not feel stressed, it's the stress that your body is going through. And that had such a dramatic impact in my body not recovering enough between workouts to allow to take up the protein, not getting enough quality deep sleep for everything to repair. So it was a really, really interesting experience, which leads into the question around sleep. But it really made me understand just how my body is impacted by stress because I'm very calm all the time. But the internal dialogue sometimes, like what keeps you awake at night, and you're lying there in bed and you're thinking about all these different things. And for me, that clearly has an impact on me. So that was my major lesson there. I was devastated. That's for sure. Okay, how has prioritizing sleep affected your fitness routine and overall wellness? So, like I just said, there with my transformation there, one of the things that you need to understand is with your sleep, it's one of the only ways that stress causes inflammation in the body, right? And so one of the only ways to get rid of that is through your deep sleep, through quality sleep. And so, like I wear one of these things. an Apple Watch to give me data. And now I don't wear it all the time, but I wore it for probably about a month to get some quality sleep data, so I could see, well, am I sleeping really well? How much deep sleep am I getting, et cetera, et cetera. And so what my strength and conditioning coach explained to me was it's the amount of deep sleep we get before midnight that's super, super important for reducing the stress, getting out the inflammation and that kind of stuff. Now, for probably a decade, I've been surviving on around 6 hours of sleep. I was finding that I could function really well on that and still get a lot done. And I'd put a lot of pressure on myself to just have really long days and just be focused. And what I realized is over time, and looking at the data, and as I'm getting older, it takes me longer to recover from my workouts. And I find now that when I have around 7 hours sleep or a little bit more, I feel so much clearer and I perform so much better through the day. Now, the challenge is most of the time I'm getting probably 6.5 hours sleep, and there's maybe one day a week where I get 7 hours, but I know that that's where I perform better. So what I try and do to help get more to the 7 is go to bed a little bit earlier. So like by 9:30 to try and fall asleep by no later than 10. To get a couple of hours quality deep sleep before midnight. And then, I'm getting up at 5 or 6 or something, which so my goal is around that 7 hours of sleep. And that's where I perform a lot better. So if I have less than that, I get fatigued. I find my focus isn't there, my work ethic isn't there, and the effort that I can put into my workouts is also not there. So it's super critical. You cannot shortcut it. You cannot shortcut it. You got to do it. All right, next question. Can you discuss how cultural influences shape our fitness and dietary habits, and how can we adopt the best practices from around the world? So one of the things that I think it doesn't matter what sex you are, it doesn't matter what country you come from, culturally, it really doesn't matter. The principle is strength training will benefit everybody. Yes, there are different genetics across different cultures, etc., and different races, but you will still benefit from doing those things. Where I see you'll hear people talk about the Mediterranean diet and the way certain cultures live in. I think it's Okinawa in Japan, and you look at if you break down a lot of those diets, what are they? They have quality protein, they have good quality plant-based food, and they will have some high energy carbohydrates in there as well. There are other factors as well that influence that, around community, around activity, around what they're doing with their mindset and that kind of stuff as well. So there's you can't just single out one thing. It's a whole combination of lifestyle factors that are affected. But one of the things that I find with certain cultures in clients that I work with, if you pull apart their nutrition, it's not particularly healthy. So it can be high in fat, it can be low in plant-based food, not quality protein, and a lot of high energy carbohydrates, so rice, bread, pasta, that kind of stuff. And people tend to eat more of that, less of the plant-based food, less of the clean proteins, etc. And if it's too high in fat as well, then it just blows the calorie profile out. So it makes it really, really challenging. And so what I aim to do is make sure that it doesn't matter what culture they come from, is to look at what are they eating, what are their favorite dishes, and give them tips as to, well, how do you reduce the fat in it? How do you get more protein in? How do you get more plant-based food in? Like your leafy green vegetables and that kind of stuff. So anything that's not like a potato or that kind of stuff, which is your high energy carbs. And then for the high energy carbs, making sure that people are having controlled portions of those. And that's kind of the toughest thing, I think. So just generally speaking, strength training, getting more plant-based food into your daily eating and clean protein is the biggest problem that I find around the globe, irrespective of culture. And with the busier lifestyles that people are having, they're eating more and more dine-out food, which is high calorie, less nutritional density, high sugar, high fat, high calorie, and like the daily profiles just blowing out. So we can, do it a lot better, a lot cleaner. Next question. How do you incorporate mindfulness into your fitness routine, and what benefits have you noticed? Well, one of the things that I like to teach people in their strength training is you put your mind into the muscle. So yes, before I get to the workout, I am thinking about, so take this morning, for instance, I did a workout first thing, got up, got dressed, did a workout. I'm lying in bed thinking about my workout and processing why am I doing it, connecting back to my goals. What are my goals for today's workout? What's my specific workout? What goals do I want to achieve for each lift that I'm doing? And so I do that. And then when I'm actually in the gym doing the exercise and I'm warmed up, I'm putting my mind into the muscle. So today I trained legs. So what that means is, so I was doing leg press. And so as the weight's coming down, I'm thinking about pushing back up through my heel. I'm thinking about my quads. I'm thinking about my hamstrings. I'm thinking about my glute muscles as I'm pushing through. So you see a lot of people, they'll just be in the gym and just going through the motion, so like a bicep curl, and just even this sort of tempo. And it's like, you're not thinking about this, you're just doing the motion. And some people are like side on, they're getting this swinging motion happening. You're swinging your arms. So I say, think about the muscle that you're working. So in the bicep curls, so this is the muscle we're doing. So I'm like, I'm thinking about here, I'm forgetting about all of this, that like this is holding on to the weight, but I'm forgetting about all of that. I'm thinking about here. And as it's coming up, I'm just thinking that's doing all the work. And as it's coming down, I'm just thinking all about that. When you do that, you find that you get way more out of your workouts. In terms of like other things, in terms of mindfulness. So I'm not in the gym, but we tend to think of, I guess, mindfulness as like, like at peace and all that kind of stuff. I'm not doing that in the gym. I'm focused in the gym and I'm switched on. For me, the mindfulness, so like today, for instance, a beautiful day. It's not a cloud in the sky. It's Mother's Day. It's a glorious day. It's going to be about 20 degrees. Happy Mother's Day, all the mums out there. For me, it could be like sitting out here and just enjoying nature, listening to the birds, looking at the garden, that kind of stuff. Might be going for a walk or just enjoying nature around me. To me, that's kind of mindfulness. And what that does, I mentioned about stress before, it's kind of like it's just all drifting out of me. Any stress that you've got, it gives your mind an opportunity to just free up. And it's like I talk about filling up your bucket. We have this bucket of energy and everything that we are giving out to people all day, every day. If your bucket is empty, then you've got nothing left to give. And I find doing those things I just said helps fill the bucket back up a little bit, so you've got more to give. And because each day you're tipping your bucket out, if you don't fill it back up, it's like there's nothing left to give there. So yeah, so that is my thought on it. We'll go through 3 more questions. What advice would you give to someone entering their 50s to maintain or even improve their fitness levels? Okay. So I just had a conversation just a few minutes ago with somebody. When it comes to your health, wellness, fitness, say people come to see me and I talk about strength training, their food, cardio, etc. And sometimes people say, how long do I have to keep doing this? Well, the answer to that's simple: for the rest of your life. Okay, you have to do it for the rest of your life. If you want to be the best version of you, physically, health-wise, mentally, and you're building that success, you need to put your health as your number one priority. And these things that I teach people, you do them for the rest of your life, for the rest of your life. There's just no exception. And so if you're entering your 50s, so like I turned 56 in August, I would suggest that honestly, it doesn't matter what you've been doing up to this point, whether you're as focused as me or you're just starting out, you think, oh, I better do something. You got to double down on what it is that you're doing. So you've got to be more focused. So that means making sure for me that I'm really focused on making sure I get a lot of nutrient dense food to feed the brain to help repair the muscle tissue. Like the older you get, the ability to build more muscle diminishes all the time. So I do the strength training to hang on to what I've got and add a little bit more as well. And, making sure that I'm having all my regular blood tests and all the different medical things so that I know that if there is something wrong, then it's going to be picked up early. So then we can address it. But most of the health issues that people have come down to the lifestyle factors. So just think about, okay, are you doing some strength training? Are you doing some like me, just going for a walk regularly? You're doing something like that every day? Are you like just incidental walking around? Are you moving more? Are you getting like 5, 6 highly nutrient balanced meals into your daily eating? Are you doing those types of things? Is your sleep really quality sleep? Are you building your mindset each and every day so that you help avoid things like dementias, Alzheimer's, and that kind of stuff? All of those factors are super, super important. It doesn't matter where you are or what your fitness level is. We just look at how do we keep on improving? How do we adapt a program that is suitable for you? Because most people tend to drop their focus away as they get older, but we need to be increasing the amount of focus. So that would be my recommendation there. Right, this one on technology, I've answered that before, so I'm not going to answer that one. It's like, how has technology changed the way well, look, I'll answer it quickly. How has technology changed the way you track and enhance your fitness regime? So I mentioned about my Apple Watch. I do like data and seeing just what is going on for me. I think one of the biggest things that I do is I track my workouts, every set, every rep that I do. I track my food, not each and every day. When I want to become more focused, I will track my food. So for me, it's about just engaging me at another level. Say, bang, yeah, I'm really switched on. I'm tracking everything. But most of the time, I don't need to, because I'm eating what I need to each and every day, because I've been doing it for so long. So probably in terms of the app, I mean, it started out with me just tracking steps, and of course they've added more and more data in there that you can track. The latest one that I've done, which they added to the Apple Watch, which is around mental health, and so it gives me a prompt, I think, twice a day around, how are you feeling right now? How have you felt for the day? And you can just click on different things quickly, and then what are the things contributing to that? I mean, I'm pretty much up here all the time. So it's pretty simple. But that's interesting. Again, it's like data, you track it over time. What does it look like? What are the trends? Yeah, so I mean, I think the more enhancements that we have to technology, it's only a help in terms of giving us more information about ourselves. Like, I think while I was talking about the sleep data, I mean, I think that's fascinating to have that information and be able to just wear this for every now and then to say, okay, so what is my sleep patterns like? If I remember, I'll wear it tonight. I haven't done it for a while. I find that stuff interesting and fascinating, just to give you some feedback about where you are. So I mean, that's how I use it. Last question. What is the biggest misconception about fitness you encounter, and how do you address it with your clients? Well, actually, probably the biggest one is, like I just mentioned before, people think, okay, I'm not where I want to be. I want to do something for a while to achieve those results, and then I'll be okay. And so the biggest challenge that I have with people is getting them to understand, how do you implement those daily habits that you realize you need to do for the rest of your life. Because if you go too hard, too extreme, it's going to burn out. Think about any diet that you may have been on. It's going to have failed at some point. So, oh no, it worked here. Well, you're doing it now? No. Well, it's a failure because we only want to do things that are going to sustain us for the rest of our life in a healthy way. We love our food. It's easy to do. We're doing the things that we really, really embrace. We really enjoy doing, like we enjoy the strength training. We enjoy the cardio training we do. We're enjoying the mindfulness work that we're doing. We're enjoying building ourselves, growing ourselves each day. We're looking to do nothing more than grow in our life, because you're either staying the same or you're dying, right? So we want to grow. And when you do that, you realize that, well, I've got to be super focused on my health. And when I do that, then all of these things align together. And you find that once you really have it as part of your lifestyle, you can't live any other way because it just makes you feel so good. And it links to so many other aspects of success in your life and the way that you show up for you and other people. And it's just, life is just so much more rewarding in that way. So that's probably the biggest one. People think that I just need to do something for a while. No, we need to do it forever. All right. Thanks for all your questions this week, everybody. Stay safe, stay healthy. I'll see you next time.